What's going on, guys? It's Fake Thriller and Snoo603. Welcome to episode number 3 of the Game Speak. We are going to cover basically E3 and the happenings and goings-ons of what took place over the last week/weekend, and hit on what really, got us excited and some of the news and stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing to come out of E3, Snoo, if you would mind agreeing or disagreeing, is pretty safe to say PS3's victory.
PS4? Yes.
PS4's victory. Dude, it's going to be so hard for me to stop saying Xbox 360 and, dude, I go oh yeah, blah, 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 Xbox 360. 360. Oh, fuck! No, Xbox One. It's been 6 or 7 years of saying 360.
Just say X1, because I think that way, if everyone gets in the habit of saying X1, everyone will fucking know what we're talking about.
No, I feel like we're talking about some science project.
Well, clearly this is what Microsoft's going for.
Microsoft's been working on the X1.
Who knows what they're trying to accomplish with this shit. Yeah, there was a lot of good things to be said. Well, no, let me pull that back a little bit. Let's rein this in a little. There really wasn't a lot of good things to be said about the PS4. When you really take a look at it, just the PS4, it really didn't progress that much farther forward compared to the PS3. There's not a whole lot of changes going on, except for the system capacity or capabilities as far as what we're going to get out of our games. Yeah, that progressed, but everything else since all the side things, there's really not a whole lot going on.
I mean, are you talking about Netflix and stuff? Yeah, it's still plays
yeah,
Netflix.
The whole the social media aspect of it, if you will, and the cross media bar and everything that entails the cross media bar for PS3, the improvements it made for PS4, I'm sure will be pretty good, but it's still kind of But when you stack it up compared to what Xbox One is, it's not even necessarily Xbox One itself. It's what Microsoft is restricting via the Xbox One. Then yeah, it looks like the PS4 is made out of fucking solid gold.
Yeah, see, I feel like Microsoft is terribly misunderstood, and we sort of talked about this a little bit before about how they're just trying to offer some good stuff, and they're getting slapped around because of it.
Right.
But I mean, it came out at the worst possible time. The NSA is being investigated for monitoring U.S. citizens for the past 5 years or something like that.
Right.
So now it's oh yeah, Microsoft, you've been trying to facilitate that. But yeah, no, I think the PS4 definitely came out ahead. And one thing, let me see if this actually. I just read this on Reddit today, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it. I want to know if this would change your opinion of the Xbox One at all. So, Xbox One's big thing is cloud-based gaming. So one of the things that's been shuffled along in the sides is this ability that the Xbox One has to where, let's say I buy a game. Now I can add you to a list of friends, up to 10 people, and then you can download and play the same game at the same time because you're on my list.
Okay, I'm following.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
It's sort of like what we do with the PlayStation Network.
Correct.
Only it's with all games. So we would only technically have to buy one copy of Battlefield 4 or something like that. You can do that with downloaded games. You can do that with anything because it's from the cloud, and they make you set up a friends and family list or something like that. So that's a pretty bitchin' feature.
This is true.
But that's still probably not enough to get people to shake off the shackles of the Xbox One, right?
Yeah. Another big thing, just regarding the consoles themselves, was the price points. I know I had said all along that the max price we could see was $500. Anything over that, and they'd be kicking themselves. But I even thought the $500 was a little too high, because even when PS3 dropped down to $500, what was it originally when it came out? Was it $600 or $700?
There was varying models, but it was up as high as $600, I think.
Okay, and even still, they couldn't get that many sales out of it. So, seeing Microsoft come right out of the gate swinging at $500, I think they're you know what? This is the next gen model. We can charge a premium for this because it's a new thing, even though we could still make a profit at say $300. And I actually read this, so I can't take credit for this, but I guarantee the moment they announced it, somebody quickly ran backstage and they're like, quick, change our slides, make our price $3.99.
They might have, though. Like,
I wouldn't put it past them.
I don't know enough about big business and everything to decide whether or not that's possible. I mean, that's a 20% immediate price cut, right?
Right.
So I imagine if you have that much leeway in your pricing, then you're kind of a dick anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's our capitalistic country that we live in.
But still, like 20% off, and we're talking like hundreds of dollars here.
Right. Exactly.
But, I mean, maybe they did do that. They realized, like, we just need a nail in this coffin, and the price point could be it. Like, the Xbox won't even sell, and then we'll sell so many more PS4s because of this, then, like, it'll work out. Who knows? But here's a question. What do you think about Nintendo?
What about it? The fact that I know nothing about it and I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It's not geared towards people like me. I'm not interested in party gaming or shitty party kind of graphics and yeah, that made fucking perfect sense. Lower quality graphics. Granted, they went HD, but it's not. Right. It's just not the same. It's geared to me. I look at the Nintendo and it's a little kid's machine. Like, if I were still in middle school or younger, I would be fucking stoked to have that because it fits exactly with what I was interested in back then. But, as an adult with a 12-year-old mind, I just don't give a shit.
So, I mean, the Wii U is out then. The Xbox, I assume, is out. So is PS4 in your budget for the fall?
Ideally, I would like it to be. But considering I just invested all this time and money into PC, if the money's there, then yes, I'm still going to get the PS4 because there's still a lot of exclusives that Sony's going to get that I want to be a part of. But I'm not going to stress it or, break the bank or charge I don't charge anything my credit card that I can't pay for with cash anyway. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even going to charge my credit card to get it. Like, it's not that important to me to jump on it that quickly. It is my intention to get it. I'd like to save up any money we make from the channel or whatever to pay for it, and I could see it happening, but I also have to worry about taxes, so it's in the master plan of Snooze603 to get a PlayStation 4. Whether or not that actually happens, I can't tell yet. It's too early. Right.
Plus, it's hard to, I mean, it's easy to forget that $400 gets you a system and a controller, but no game,
Right, exactly.
You got to shell out another $60. We assume it's going to be $60.
Right.
They could jack it up to $70 to be dicks. But, all right, so let's talk about games.
You know what? We're going to come out of the gate swinging with this. And we're not going to talk about Battlefield 4. We're going to save that for the end. Tom Clancy's The Division. If you guys have not looked up anything on this, you have done a disservice to yourself, and you need to rectify the situation fucking, right now. What I want you to do is pause this video, go watch it, and then come back and listen to what we have to say. So, we'll wait a second here. Go ahead, pause.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, so now you're back. How blown is your mind?
Yeah, no, The Division looks pretty sweet. It looks like a futuristic, post-apocalyptic Fallout DayZ combo type thing.
Right. It's a third-person shooter. It's action role-playing. It's an open-world MMO tactical shooter action role-playing game.
I think that's going to be pretty awesome.
It's going to be fantastic, and it's kind of crazy because you look at the footage and you realize, okay, well, it's basically an online co-op with you and 4 other players, but it's also PvP. And you can see that at the end of that 7-minute gameplay demo that they showed from E3. At the very end, they said, well, another squad, where I can't remember their exact words, but it's something along the lines of, well, heads up, another squad coming in, PvP time.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines, and you're like, at that point, and it took me the entire 7 minutes to realize that, holy shit, I thought I was hearing some really, really bad player acting. Like, the gameplay was amazing, but, oh, okay, what we were hearing was 4 people actually playing the game. And then come to find out that this is a huge co-op thing. You get to play other squads of fucking real-life people in there? That's mind-blowing to me. I don't know, maybe there are other games out there similar to this.
It's a lot like DayZ, and you have very little experience with it. But DayZ, I don't want to turn anybody off by comparing this game to DayZ, because this one, The Division, looks much more action-packed, much less about survival, much more about the engagements and the action and rolling with your crew.
Exactly.
Whereas DayZ is kind of just like flippity-floppity, get on Skype and meet with your friends in Cherno kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think they said like oh, another player group. Like, oh crap, it's another player group, prepare for PvP or something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Which brings up a lot of weird dynamics, and it could be really a lot of fun, because if you're roaming around, there's always a constant threat of like NPCs, like non-player controlled characters. But then like the real shit starts boiling when I guess you realize that they're people controlling these other people. I don't know. It's really interesting. I wonder if they'll log in or if you're always online type thing, like, and you gotta always be on the lookout for PvP and stuff.
Right. It just the whole idea of it, the whole concept of it, is very intriguing, and I look forward to this. I know it's supposed to come out 2014, so we're quite a ways away. Or maybe not. Maybe it's early 2014. They didn't specify. As of the moment that we're recording this, all I saw was release date is 2014. But I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this, because this looks, I mean, early impressions, just the whole idea of it, as long as they execute it to near perfection, and there's no real bullshit game-breaking issues with it. And I know the Tom Clancy name's been really whored around with some really bad games at times. So if they can execute this game and make sure it runs smoothly, this is a Game of the Year contender, the way it looks.
Woohoo!
It's got a unique dynamic to it.
Right, and I think like they could really mess it up if they're tricking you with the way they're leading you to believe that it's a massive open world, but oh, just kidding, like it's technically an open world, but you load into a server which just consists of like 3 city blocks or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, that would drop the ball pretty hard.
I would vote for them for the biggest troll of E3 2013. What other games stood out to you?
Well, I was really looking forward to seeing Destiny, the new game from Bungie, and I didn't get to sit through the whole thing, but to be honest, I'm not overwhelmed and excited about Destiny like I was sort of hoping I would be by the end of it. It feels like Borderlands-y / Planet-sidey, and both of those games are alright, but they don't really strike my fancy. It wasn't like a, oh, yes,
right
type moment.
What I got, the impressions I got from Destiny is, bear with me, let me get through this whole point, guys, before you fly off the handle or just react. Destiny to me is almost like a Michael Bay film where it looks really good, and, you know, obviously only to an extent with Michael Bay, but you know what I mean? Like a Michael Bay film is all about looks and fuck all with context, and there's not much storyline to it. I mean, Transformers, anyone? Transformers 2 and 3? Transformers 1 was good, but aside from that, that's what Destiny looks like to me. It looks pretty, but the context of it, like the gameplay, the storyline, I'm leery. I'm wary of how good or bad it could be. It doesn't look that promising.
Yeah, this isn't like a final word by any means. Like, I'll wait until I get like non-trade show type stuff to look at and decide and sort of figure out how much time I want to put into it.
Right. It was funny because, you know, thinking back, like every new game that I saw that was coming out of E3 when I actually got a chance to catch up with everything, like for the most part, all my reactions after seeing the video was like words. I was like, oh man, that actually looks good. That was okay. You know, Battlefield 4, fap.
Yeah.
And then with The Division, I was like, ah! That was kind of a noise. And when it came to Destiny, it was a noise. It was like, it was just like one weird little squeal.
I guess it's something.
Right.
They're here.
Right.
What about Titanfall?
Titanfall looks pretty good. That's the new one from Respawn Entertainment, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, that is very, well, not very different dynamic. I mean, there's nothing new about it, but compared to the standard first-person shooters that are out and, dominating the market right now, it is a little different. It's a slight departure from the norm, and I think that could be a good thing.
Yeah.
It really depends on execution, though. I'm curious.
Right, because it's going to be the balance and the overall gameplay between someone in a mech suit and someone not in a mech suit.
Right.
And how well those go. Like, yeah, they showed some pretty awesome stuff where, like, someone was ejecting from a mech suit, landing on top of one, and, like, blowing its head off and all this stuff. But if the mech suit becomes, like, I don't know, it all depends. We need to wait for more. They have plenty of hype behind themselves just based on their history, but at this time, I don't think a perfectly executed Call of Duty could hold its own in this gaming market right now. So just because Respawn made the Modern Warfare games doesn't mean they have what it takes to make a winner this generation.
Right, I agree.
So,
I think that's it for the games that were like real standouts to it. Well, sorry, the Battlefield 4. We are going to cover it, guys. We actually did a standalone video. Everything's recorded, but we didn't want to include it in GameSpeak because it was going to eat up too much time. So expect that in the next day or two. I don't know. I guess at this point we can wrap it up with overall kind of grade, if you will, for E3. And for me personally, I give it an A+. And it's one of those, of course it's going to be really good, or it had the potential to be really good because it's all next-gen consoles coming out. So everyone's coming out with all these new games that have potential to have a lot more depth to them and can look a lot better because they have a lot more power to work with. So the expectation was we were going to be wowed by it. And me personally, I was not let down by E3 whatsoever. I think it was an A+ through and through. We got to see a lot regarding the new consoles, a lot regarding a ton of new games. And there's a handful of those games that were like just downright, wow, okay, I'm stoked for next year.
yeah, like, it's a good time to be a gamer.
Yep, exactly.
That's the takeaway I have of E3 is it's a good time to be a gamer.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's going to wrap this up, and it'll be exciting to see how all these games and the systems play out, but we will hit you guys up with some more discussion in a little bit when some new details emerge. So thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.
See ya.